Hello everyone, welcome to my jungle story. I'm Jacqueline and today I'm going to be repotting my Monstera Albo, and I thought I would turn it into a little bit of an how-to video and tell you how I got such incredible fast root growth in water in just under 2.5 months. I hope that you enjoy and that you find this informative, and let's get started. Okay, so I am going to be using the soil from Soil Ninja. Soil Ninja very kindly sent me a box full of different soil mixes for me to try out, and I am going to be including them in other videos as well. I unfortunately do not have an affiliate link with Soil Ninja because they very sadly had to cancel their affiliate program, which is very sad, but you know, it can happen. They kept on saying that they were a small company, but I don't know. I think Soil Ninja is quite big, and I feel like that the quality of their soils needs to be recognized more because their soils are absolutely amazing, and I've had nothing but positive results from everything that I've tried from them. I also buy a lot of separate components from them to kind of experiment and try things out. But this time I wanted to try their specific Monstera and Philodendron mix. And everything that is in here is, this blend contains activated charcoal, zeolite, pumice, worm castings, cocoa coir, bark, and perlite, which is actually the basic mix, DIY mix that I also make myself. I also use all of those same components actually, but I don't know, this is pre-mixed and I feel like sometimes the quantities can make a real difference. I've noticed that with the Anthurium mix, that I use the Anthurium mix also for my Hoyas. They also recommend that, and I've had really good results with it just because they put a lot of bark in there, whereas other Anthurium mixes that I've tried, they don't have as much bark. I still also get really good results from them, but I wouldn't necessarily try those mixes for Hoya then. So I feel like their mixes just, they reach like quite a big range. They also on their website have a plant index where you can put in any name of any plant or any genus or anything, and they will give you recommendations. Like I recently got a ZZ Raven and I want to pot it up, and I just put in Zamioculcas, I think that's the right way of saying it, and they recommend their cacti and succulent mix. So yeah, it just, their website is really, really informative. They have great customer service and I've just had great results. So please go ahead and support Soil Ninja because I love their mixes. I absolutely love them. I am still very happy that I'm going to be working with them. Every now and then I will get packages where I can promote their products, but yeah, it is very sad about the affiliate program, but you know, I feel like, I guess people were taking advantage of it and they were making like, you could only get 10% off your first order, and people were making more email accounts, and yeah, it was just a whole thing, which is very sad for, you know, us planty people who really, you know, love their products and actually want to use them a lot and not take advantage. But anyway, I'm still very glad that I'm going to be working with them, and I still highly recommend them. It's got nothing to do with affiliates or anything. They're still amazing. So with any further ado, my Monstera Albo is currently living right behind me. This over here is actually my alocasia corner. I need to do some rearranging. This plant is going to be moved. But I recently noticed, I'm actually going to try and pull out as much as I can because it's just rotten anyway and I don't want it to spread. Yeah. Oh, that's sad. That's sad, sad, sad. But that can also happen. So this is what's happened. This is the newest leaf, which is very sad. I'm just going to take that off. Yeah, it's just rotted off. But it's fine. This will push out and it will make a new leaf. You know, it's fun. This was a top cut that they took. So this cutting was taken on the 16th of November. So right now, today, we are the 29th of January. And yes, I have gotten really amazing root growth. It didn't have any roots. So there's all new roots that have been grown in the last 2.5 months, 2.5 months-ish, yeah. over the winter, which is amazing. So I want to share some tips on how I was able to do that while I repot this baby. I'm first going to take off. I've put, yeah, this is something that I love to do, is this is just like a glass jar, but what I've done is I've put plastic on here just to keep it stable so that it didn't wobble around in there, because that can also slow down your root growth. So this just keeps it stable. And of course I had to use the strongest tape that I own, which just makes it that much more difficult to get it off. There we go. This is actually my packing tape for when I ship plants. But yeah, wow. Oh, I don't know. Oh, and they're still fuzzy and soft. Yeah, just look at that. It's like amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It does have 2 nodes here. That's, see, there's, and this is a node here, and this is a node here. And it's given me, yeah, I've noticed a lot lately, like secondary roots, which is the sign that I can pot it up. A lot of the times it was pushing out these really big, like, what do they call them? Like the main roots, sort of. But I only really like to pot up my cuttings once I see secondary roots. So I'm going to put that to the side, and we're going to open up the bag. What's also really nice is their bags. They have like one of those zip things so you can close it back up. Oh, but just look at that. It looks so good. Oh, I love the smell. Just got a thing for, oh my word, is anyone else like that? But yeah, that is what it looks like. Oh, I just love the look of that. I really do. I'm going to give it like a little, I can see there's some bark in the corners here. I'm going to give it a little bit of a shake up. Oh, without putting it everywhere. There we go. You can see some more bark now. And I'm going to be putting it in a clear pot so I can keep an eye on the roots. And I'm also going to give it quite a big pot because Monsteras have the most amazing, I mean, they root like absolute crazy. They really, really do. So I know that this is going to fill up. And even that, I mean, that's not bad. You know, that's not bad at all. So I'm going to pot it up in there, and I will eventually also, I'm going to try and leave room here because I will eventually put a pole here, not a moss pole. I don't want to put this one on a moss pole. You can if you want to, but I've noticed that with Monstera, you don't really need to. They'll size up fine without it. And it's not really size that I want with this one. I want to just keep this plant happy and healthy and just give it some support, you know? I always pull these things off. I know you don't have to, but just like the brown bits. So while I pot this up, some little tips to get fast root growth. What I did was I actually, in the beginning, when I first got the cutting, didn't have any roots whatsoever. I actually first had it in their soil mix that they had there, but I started to notice that it was drooping and it just wasn't happy. And I've just had the best experience with rooting Monstera in water. You can do it any way that you're comfortable with, but for the purpose of this video, it is with water, and I just find that really, really easy. So I put it in this vase, and I, from the beginning, also added nutrients. And I added a diluted form. So whatever fertilizer that you use, oh, just look at that. It looks so good. So, so good. Whatever fertilizer you use, I would always recommend diluting it slightly. It's already gone through the shock of being cut. It already then went through the shock of being potted up, then taken out of the pot. And it then went through the shock of being in a car for over an hour, and also just kind of being flung around a little bit because I did the repotting workshop in the morning. That's where this cutting was from, because I won this cutting, and it was chopped in the morning and I was there the whole day. So yeah, it wasn't really the best like conditions or anything like that. So yeah, this is how I'm going to put it in the pot. That's going to be the front. But I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to slightly bend this leaf a little bit. This leaf might die off, but I think it will be fine. Just so that I can put a pole here so that it can attach to a pole. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm actually going to go and see if I have one. I do have one, yay. So yeah, I'm just going to be using a, what is this called, like a cork pole, something like that. I'm just going to use that just because I don't want to give this one a moss pole. I've done it before with Monstera and I don't know, I've not really seen much of a difference. And I also just don't want the maintenance of an extra moss pole because I have plants on the way that I want to put into moss poles, but this one just doesn't need it, you know, it just doesn't need it. So I'm maneuvering the roots a little bit and I'm gonna put it, okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of a layer. I want it to be like a little bit higher. But yes, I was saying this plant was already going through a shock, so I didn't really want to stress it out anymore. So I put it into water the next day, actually, and pretty much within the space of 2 hours, it perked up and it wasn't drooping anymore. So yeah, again, I would highly recommend doing water with your Monsteras. Then what I did is the first week, I actually put it a heat mat. Just to, I don't know, make sure that it's, I guess, like less shock, just like because I know that, I mean, it's winter. It already went through an ordeal. It was quite cold in my car, obviously. So I just wanted to set this one up for success. So I put it on a heat mat for probably about a week. Nothing was really happening, but I just did that to make sure that I wasn't going to stress this plant out. Okay. That's the height that I want the moss pole. I'm kind of going to lean the plant against it and I bring the bag a little bit closer. But yes, I put it on a heat mat for a week. I took it off. I just did that just to kind of not stress this plant out any more than it needed it to. I took it off the heat mat. Now I could have actually just left it and the root growth might have been even quicker. So if you can do that, but I didn't really have the option due to space. And I also wanted to, my heat mats are all upstairs. I wanted to keep this plant downstairs so I can keep an eye on it. And also heat mats are not really the nicest looking thing. So yeah, I just went with my gut feeling and I just took it off the heat mat. I put it on my north facing window where I took it off now. It was living on that cabinet the whole time. So it was getting a lot of light. Now I do have grow lights behind me now, but they've only been installed for the last week. So the grow lights definitely did not contribute to the growth. It was just the north facing window. It doesn't get any sun or anything like that. Because if you were to put this into sun, you could actually stress it out even more because it needs to like grow resilience to the sun, because before it was in the greenhouse where it wasn't getting any direct sun, just like a lot of bright indirect light. That is what it was getting. So I put it on the north facing window. That's where it's been living really. And one thing that I did that I wanted to experiment with was I continuously every single week, once a week, I added nutrients. So the water wasn't really going down because the first month it did not actually give me any root growth. It was only in the second month that it gave me all this root growth. So everything that you've seen was actually only from a month and a half. And I was actually experimenting with another sort of nutrients. It was a very, very diluted form. So if you can use a better quality fertilizer, I would highly recommend it. It was just a really cheap one from the garden center, but it just goes to show you don't need to go ahead and buy fancy fertilizer. But I was adding just probably about like a small cup every single week, just so that I kept up with feeding this plant. Because otherwise, if I put it into the soil now, there's already nutrients in here. And then on top of that, I also fertilize. I put fertilizer in my water every single time I water my plant. Give it a good shake. I didn't want to cause fertilizer burn because that is very difficult to come back from. It takes a while for your plant to kind of readjust after that. I have had fertilizer burn before, and it does take a while for the plant to kind of rehabilitate after that. So I wanted to make sure that I kept up with nutrients, and I think that is the main reason how I got fast root growth so incredibly quickly. I also didn't lose any leaves. These were the same 3 leaves that I got when they gave me the cutting. So I definitely think that doing the heat mat, kind of reducing the shock of this plant, really helped. And yeah, in a month and a half, it gave me all those roots. I'm very happy with that, considering it's also winter. It was not getting the best light. It was a north-facing window, which is, I live in Belgium, so that is the worst exposure that you can get. I'm loving the look of this mix. I really am. This is the first time that I'm trying this Monstera philodendron mix from Soil Ninja, but I'm really loving the look of it. Really am. No fungus gnats either, which is always nice because I am dealing with a serious fungus gnat infestation at the moment. I need to actually order something for it because I'm not going to be able to get rid of it naturally, I don't think. Okay, so, oh no, is there a crack in this pot? Oh no, it's just a scratch, it's fine. So there it is. Oh, it looks so good, doesn't it? Look at that. It's gonna be so much more happier. Yeah, the pole is just for support. I don't want any roots to grow into like moss or anything. It's just mainly for support, and it'll be fine. But again, you can do whatever you want to do. I just prefer to not put my Monstera onto a moss pole, just because eventually, I have done that before, and eventually the roots get so chunky and so big that they end up coming out of the moss pole anyway, and it's just kind of pointless because yeah, it's just, to me, it's just for my own laziness. I can also see a bump here, which is very exciting. There's already a bump there. So this is going to push out and it's going to give me new growth. A little bit of drought there. The sun is like coming in and out. But yeah, that is the repot of this one. I wanted to dedicate a video to this one specifically just because it's grown to be one of my favorite plants. It's definitely one of my favorite variegated plants. I just love the variegation on this one. It's so stunning. And I just feel so grateful that I won this cutting. Sorry if you can hear that in the background. I'm going to try and tune that out. That's my washing machine. That's like my third load of the day. So, but yeah, I feel very grateful that I won this cutting. And they have beautiful Monsteras, beautiful. This was from one of their mother plants, so they make pups from their mother plants. And yeah, they definitely chose one out with the most stunning variegation. And I already have fenestration there, which is so exciting. But yeah, these are all leaves that were on the cutting, so it's doing something, it's growing for me now. But yeah, I didn't have any roots, so it took a while. But I'm very happy with the progress. I'm so happy with the root growth, like a month and a half. I know I said 2 months and a half, but yeah, the more that I've been thinking about the timeline, the first month it did not do anything for me. So it was just, kind of adjusting and stressing, I guess, over the cut, because top cuts can do that. They can stress over that. And that is why this new growth is all funny now, because it was a top cut, but it will be fine. It will grow back. And I will definitely keep you updated on this plant, but I just absolutely love it. I'm just so glad that I have a Monstera Albo in my collection again, and I'm very grateful and happy that I won it. It just makes it so much more special, and it's a real nice memory of that day, because I spent the whole day there. I did the workshop and everything and the lunch, and it was just a really, really fun day. So those are all the tips that I want to give you. If you have any tips yourself, or if any experiences actually from rooting top cuts or cuttings with no roots or anything in water, pop them down below. Let's help each other all out and we can all learn from it. I'm always learning. There's always different ways of doing it. This is the first time that I did this type of setup with like the heat mat and the added nutrients and all that, and giving it a window spot as well. Even though it's not the best of exposure, it was still a window spot. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with the progress of this, and I will definitely keep you updated. I hope that you enjoyed this video, that you found it informative. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do. Come and join me on my jungle story and we can help each other out. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.